And we also need to talk about the National Basketball Association, in particular the in-season tournament. Let's get into it. Now that we know what the quarterfinals are set like, I must admit, Danny, going into the season, I was skeptical if the in-season tournament was going to work, if people were actually going to care. I hated the courts. I still hate the courts, and I will forever hate the courts. But I will say this. I am an absolute fan, and if for anything, it's because of the point differential. Because I've seen a couple of athletes, a couple of players get mad that teams are running up with a score on them, and it made me say to myself, deal with it. You know the circumstances going into the game. You know a team has to beat you by X amount of points. Shame on you if you let them beat you by, let's say, 23 points or more. Hello, Chicago Bulls. I absolutely love the point differential factor of it because it adds a level of spiciness. I understand players might feel disrespected by it, but it is what it is. This is what you're signed up for. Participate. Don't gripe about it. Your thoughts?
I hate it. And
I'm shocked that you, Daddy, come on.
You just want to see WWE fight. Like,
yes!
You want to see Spike.
Is this not entertainment? This is entertainment.
But this is a basketball game. This is not, you know what I'm saying? We don't need to scrap. We don't need to have hockey. Now, I do think that we should allow more freedom of emotion where less technicals happen and where guys get chippy. They shouldn't be thrown out the game. But I don't think you should be initiating that or encouraging that, or trying to get to that direction. This is a sportsmanship type of sport. And you got to respect the game.
This is part of the rule. This is respect. This is respecting the game because the rules in order to move on as a wild card is point differential. So this is a rule that's instituted.
Change the rules because it's silly, and all you're going to do is cause for more havoc, and you're going to look toward some type of. We don't need that. We don't need that in our league, man. Just respect the game. You don't need to be up 30 fouling guys. That's ridiculous. And yes, I do agree with the courts are a little too much. I do like that they changed the courts so people know that's in-season tournament games. They are bright. They're a little too much. So we can change the courts. I think the teams with the best records should move on. The point differential thing is stupid. You're disrespecting the other team. It's not sportsmanlike. Yeah, guys, no disrespect to Joe Mazzulla, but he's doing what he's supposed to do. But you got guys like Joe Mazzulla playing against Billy Donovan and teaching him, even saying how the game goes and then fouling him and telling him, and Billy has to accept it. He has to eat it. And it's like, nah, man, nah. You have respect for these players and that coach to not be doing that type of at the end of the game. You know what I'm saying? When you're up 30 to be playing foul game because of the point differential. Nah, man, just win the game, keep it moving. Get your best record. Guys with the best record should advance. I like the in-season tournament. I'm glad that it's working out. Court should change a little bit, and the point differential should not be a thing because it's stupid.
Hey, Danny, but here's why point differential, in my opinion, should say. Number one, saying who has the best. Saying no, listen.
The point differential is all for gamblers. That's all it's about.
It does help bettors. It does help bettors, and the bettors, and for the NBA's bottom line, they need to care about the bettors. So that's one point. Number two, you also have to factor this in. You can say, okay, which team has the better record? Well, that's not fair because certain teams have more home games, certain teams have more road games, certain teams had a harder strength of schedule. This is solely based on your collective. All the teams within one group have all played each other within that group. If the Los Angeles Lakers, for some reason, started the season with the Timberwolves, the Nuggets, the Boston Celtics, name a good team that's playing well, the Orlando Magic, the Indiana Pacers. Meanwhile, the Milwaukee Bucks only played the Washington Wizards, the Charlotte Hornets, and the Detroit Pistons. Of course, they're going to have a better record. There's no way that could be fair if you factor in the team record. The only way in which it's fair, or the most fair way, is if for it to be among common opponents' point differential. So maybe you could do a head-to-head record. That you can't do head-to-head because they're not the same group. If they had played head-to-head, maybe.
Scheduling is more part of the game than the point differential to me. You got to eat the schedule. That's just how it is. The schedule is a schedule every year. That's something you can eat. Now, having to play in a game where guys are fouling on purpose when you're already up 30 or when you're up by 10 or 15 end of the game and guys are still trying to score. Nah, bro. That's not part of the game. That's not part of the game. Now the scheduling, the head-to-head, you can figure that out. You can figure that out.
The in-season tournament wasn't a part of the game, and now it is. As time goes on, things are instituted to make the game more compelling, to make it more entertaining. This is why the value of the NBA is at an all-time high, because there continues to be improvements. And if one of the improvements are, hey, listen, we're going to do point differential now, then it is what it is. Bro, it happens in international soccer all the time. They're okay with it.
For sure, but we're not soccer. When we could change the schedule, we could change the location. If you want to make it, the point differential needs to be excommunicated, and we can have the whole in-season tournament at neutral sites, if that's the case. Or the teams with the better record have to face off, or the second better records have to face off at a different location or something like that. Outside of that, though, the point differential, it's only for gamblers, bro. I'm not rolling. It's only for gamblers.
What is so disrespectful about a team saying, I need to win by this amount of points, and they go out and trying to do that? It's incumbent upon the opposing team to try and stop them.
It becomes disrespectful when you're in the game and you're up by a certain amount of points and you're still trying to score. That's when it becomes disrespectful. And if I have to explain that to the average fan or any person,
Danny. Come on, Danny.
We're not supposed to be having a conversation. Yes, I need to win about this amount of points. You can do that with playing the right way. You don't have to. You know what I'm saying? If you don't do it, you don't do it, but you still win.
When you played, and I'm going to take you back now. When you played at St. Mary's High School under head coach Tim Clues, did you not win games 70-15?
No.
Come on, Danny. Y'all didn't have a couple of OD blowouts when you played that series? Okay. Y'all weren't running up the score?
No, we had our third string in. We weren't running up the score. Mind you, so that's a bad comparison. If I'm up a certain amount of points, I don't care if it's 6 or 8, and there's 10 seconds left, and I have the ball, the respect factor and the sportsmanship factor, you do not go to try to score because you're susceptible to somebody trying to you up, basically. They have free reign to foul you hard.
But they shouldn't be upset. They shouldn't be upset. If you know the rules, why would you be upset? Swing on the NBA. Take your anger out on Adam Silver. But
that's why they need to change it.
That's not the other team's fault.
That's been the game since before time. And if you can't just change that to be like, oh, you shouldn't be upset. No. That's what the it's been since we've known it. Now you want us to not be upset because we put in these rules. No. Change these rules. And then you guys won't be upset. So that's what it is.
Danny, I know the NBA and its higher-ups care about its players. But you know who's priority?
We've seen it before. You've seen Lance Stevenson lay the ball up and DeMar and PJ ready to beat the dude up. This had nothing to do with in-season tournament.
So in-season tournament creates a little bit of grace. With that said,
it shouldn't create any grace. No, it's just before time. This is what it's been. This is what it's always going to be. Don't disrespect the game. Don't disrespect our team. Don't be doing highlights at the end of the game. Zion get a windmill dunk. You know what I'm saying? That type of stuff. You're susceptible of a fight. Or somebody taking you out, rightfully so, trying to injure you.
Well, listen, as a former player, I understand your viewpoint, but I am a consumer. I am trying to be entertained, and I know the NBA cares about my opinion, unfortunately, Danny, more than yours as a former player. NBA, don't stop with the point differential. I absolutely love it when teams and players are mad. It makes for better TV. It's more compelling. And honestly, if you're on the other side of the team that's getting smacked and because and the other team is trying to run up the point differential on you, too bad. Do something about it. Point blank, period.
They're gonna do something about it, and it's gonna be bad.
And if something bad happens, you know what it's gonna be? More ratings. It's how the cookie
Maybe goes. So. But you have some other guys that are hurt now. I think some guys will be hurt and they'll be out the game for some time.
I doubt it gets to that point. Maybe there's a compromise, but I like the incentive that it gives for other teams to play at a certain level. And I'll tell you this right now. And for the bettors, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And they're going to cater to the bettors as well. All right, we can talk about it for days. Let's talk about the actual quarterfinals itself, Danny. Let me just get your prediction. It's going to be Knicks at Bucks, Celtics at Pacers. Yep, and then Suns at Lakers, Pelicans at Kings. First of all, we know the NBA is happy. You get LeBron, you get KD, you get the New York TV market, you get the Boston TV market, you get Giannis, you get Dame. They have to be ecstatic with the field for the quarterfinals. Tell me how it all ends out. Who wins? What's the finals and who wins it?
Man, that's tough. I'm either go Milwaukee, even though they've been in close games, they've been winning games. So I'm gonna have to have probably Milwaukee, Boston in the Eastern Finals, and then the
Yep.
West. I'm gonna go with Phoenix and who else was left?
Pelicans, Kings.
I'm gonna go with the Kings. Also just because of health
Okay.
issues. Lakers have been balling, man, when they were healthy in the East in-season tournament. They have been balling in-season tournament. They have health issues. They caught Phoenix early in the season before they got the rhythm. Book, I think, was out. I think he was hurt. Book is back now, and I think that Phoenix is in more of a rhythm. I think KD will be back at that point. I'm not sure. So
KD's back. KD's back tonight, Wednesday night.
Okay, so then I got Phoenix over LA, and I got Sac over Pelicans, and then I got Indiana, even though they've been balling as well. I got the C's over Indiana, and then it's Milwaukee versus
Milwaukee
who?
over the Knicks.
Yeah, I got Milwaukee over the Knicks.
The Knicks will give him a tough one.
No, they've been playing, man. Shout out to Julius Randle, who's been balling. He's 2020 game the other night. He's since the start of the season, he had a rough start, but since then he's been picking his numbers up. Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, they've been hooping, man. So Knicks, they ain't nobody to sleep on. That actually might be my sleeper game because listen, Milwaukee's had a lot of close games, even with Washington. Knicks could get them, so this might be the game that said if I had to choose an underdog, it's probably the Knicks over the Bucks.
I got the Knicks beating the Bucks, definitely covering the spread, whatever that spread is end up going to be. But I'm going to wait for your finals pick, but I'm going to give my finals pick. I think end of the day, some way, somehow, Danny, this in-season tournament is all about creating additional revenue for the NBA. We know that the Boston Celtics right now, or since the beginning of the season, have looked like the best team in the NBA. We know LeBron James has been rumored to be interested in owning a team that eventually comes to Las Vegas. The Lakers have probably been the most vocal team about wanting to win that $500,000. Anthony Davis said it after one of their games in an in-season tournament game. He's never come back to the locker room and heard somebody say, one step closer to 500,000. I think the Lakers care about this a lot more than maybe other teams, especially when you consider they have at least 6 to 7 players who are better than minimum contracts. I think it ends up being the NBA's dream. In-season tournament, season 1, Lakers, Celtics. Adam Silver throwing a party if that's what ends up happening. And I think that's exactly what happens.
Yeah, I think all dreams don't come true, though. The Lakers have not been playing well. They have a lot of injuries. So with that being said, if they were healthy, but you got Gabe Vincent out, Rui Hachimura out,
How much you want to bet they'll be good by Monday, though? How much you want to bet they'll be good to go by Monday?
I could bet some money that a lot of those guys still will not be back. Maybe one of them might be back, but I don't see all of them being back at that time. Cam Reddish, I think he had a groin injury. Rui has a fracture on his face, so maybe him. Vando has a heel. Gabe has a knee issue. I just don't see all those guys coming back. And if they do come back, it still takes them a minute to get their chemistry right and get their rhythm. I don't see them beating the Phoenix Suns and trying to find your rhythm on that day.
Lakers, Celtics winning the in-season tournament. Who you got winning the whole thing?
I got Sacramento.
Sacramento?
Yeah. For some odd reason, I think this is going to be an underdog type of situation where a random team is going to win. And I think Sacramento is going to be that team. They've been playing well. I'm not wishing upon any injuries, but every other team is not healthy. And for some reason, I think Sacramento is probably going to be the healthiest. And they had a big win last night over Golden State, which I think put them right in that mode that they needed to be in. And I see them said they're going to beat New Orleans, and then they're going to, shock whoever the next team is and end up playing somebody that they shouldn't be playing probably in the East. It might be the New York Knicks. So we'll see. I think it's going to be an interesting game, but I think it's going to be Sacramento, Boston in the finals. And for some reason, I just think I just see a random team winning it. And I know Boston really wants to win it, but I see that's the game that they probably – it's a tournament. It's like the NCAA tournament any given night, right?
Yeah, for sure. You mentioned that Sacramento Kings game Tuesday night against the Golden State Warriors. Going to talk about them in a little bit as well as we go to our worry meeting. But before we go to break, the winner of this in-season tournament, Danny, every single player gets the winner and the head coach gets $500,000. If I gave you $500,000 right now, let's say you had nothing to your name. Well, yeah, let's say you had the basics to your name. You have everything you need. You have everything you need, and now I'm giving you $500,000. What is the first thing you're buying?
I'm a normal civilian and I have a
both normal civilian and you currently, you Danny Green.
I think a normal civilian, I think they probably put down on a house maybe. Okay. You know, that probably their Christmas gift to themselves, if their family, their couple, whatever it is, they you know, if they don't have to put down all of it for a house, get a nice house and put down some of it, furnish it, and then you have enough to carry the bills. And if you're still working a job, you don't quit your job, you can carry those bills fairly easily for the next 20 to 30 years or so, which most mortgages are. For an NBA player, I think that 500K goes to a nice Christmas gift to either themselves or their wife or their kids, or it's a nice little Christmas shopping type of situation for them. They can use that 500K to buy a bunch of people in their family some nice gifts.
Give me $500,000 right now, right? As I'm not saying it's the wisest thing. I'm calling up 5 to 10 of my homies. We're going on a trip, and then when the trip is over, all right, how much do I have left? I'm not saying it's the wisest thing to do, but that's how I would operate.
For sure, I think you still have a fairly good amount left after the trip. For me, I said, I mean, yeah, trips are definitely a thing of mine. Is it a gift for me or for my crib that I would probably look into getting is probably art, a painting or something like that. So, or a watch. You know, I'm a watch guy. Either watches or art. Those are the things that I look into.